I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Lavi.
Salty and Chip.
Shout out to Mr. Nasser and everybody from the International School
Hey, what's
Arca.
up?
What's up, y'all?
I heard you have an amazing history teacher.
Shout out to y'all. Keep learning, study, stay in school, and then go take over the world. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, we're about to do Slipknot. Scissors. Yeah. This is the last record on their original, on the first self-titled record.
So this is when they were like younger, a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is Scissors by Slipknot. I think it was like a hidden track or something like that. I'm not sure.
Oh, really? You
yeah.
think that this song itself was a hidden track?
Well, it was at the very, very, very end, and you had to wait, and then Scissors would come on.
Oh.
Yeah.
So maybe it was.
It was this very, very interesting song. And I never really paid attention to the lyrics. There's one part in the middle where it got really, really heavy, and you'll see, and that's like, I would fast forward it to that part. I've never like listened to the song like straight through. I only listened to that part. Okay. So there you are.
All right.
Scissors.
Good.
Go.
Just now, what you want to dynamite? It's understood between the lines of skin. Just cause I am not, don't mean that I can feel. I wasn't very much fun to be with anyway. Just let the blood run right, cause I can't fail. Between the lines of skin. Just cause I am not, don't mean that I can feel. I wasn't very much fun to be with anyway. Just let the blood run, cause I can't feel. Until the time is right, biding my time until the time is right, biding my time until the time is right, biding my time. It's time. Biding my time until the time is right, biding my time until the time is is right. Biding my time until the time is right. Biding my time, it's time. Biding my time until the time is right. Biding my time until the time is right. Biding my time until the time is right. Biding my time, it's time. Biding my time until the time is right. Biding my time until the time is right. Biding my time until the time is right. Biding my time, it's time. Biding my time. Someone inside me, everyone against me, everyone beside me, clawing away the pieces, scratching away the absence. One more, two more, everyone wants more. One more, two more, everyone wants more. Inside the places that I hide from you, I want to see you displayed before me. You are the only one that I would rather see.
And Los Angeles record.
Whoa. Did you think that they sound somewhat like Korn? What?
Yes.
Okay.
The biding my time until the time is right. I mean, that's the blind. Da-dun, 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 da-dun,
Okay.
da-dun. da 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 da.
Yeah, it sounded to me. I was
It's a
like,
blind riff.
I kept saying no. I'm listening to Slipknot, but
All the Slipknot fans are gonna be mad.
I know. I love Slipknot guys.
How
but
dare
I just
you!
think that it sounds.
In 1999, everybody was doing a variant of that blind riff. Everybody.
Okay. Well,
You had to do
could
it.
tell.
Da-dun, 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 da-dun. Everybody did it.
even like the vocal like style reminded me of like.
Yeah, it's early Korn. Well, they had the same producer, Ross Robinson. So the guy that
okay.
did the first 2 Korn records also did the first 2 Slipknot
okay.
records. So Ross Robinson is really like responsible for a lot of like historic new metal. Like he's a historical producer. And like it's kind of his trademark to like have like crazy shit at the end of his
Yes.
records.
Okay. You mean as a hidden track or?
Well, like Daddy
Yeah.
is the last record in the first Korn,
Okay.
and Scissors is the last record in the first
Well,
Slipknot.
it kind of reminded me with the ending. Like,
Yeah.
Of Daddy.
Yeah, so like that's kind of Robinson's trademark is just to have the person go ballistic in the
Yeah.
last song.
The last little bit there.
And it's not very like there's no song structure here. It's not like verse chorus you know, middle da da da. It's just like
Well, it felt a little chaotic.
just everything got put together, but
Even the sound at the beginning was a bit too chaotic for me. I was like, oh, this one's not getting a high rating. But then as it progressed, I was like, oh well, well, this is different.
yeah, and it's almost this song like this is probably the first time I really listened to the thing through. Definitely the first time I actually looked at the lyrics, but it's like a cult hit with certain types of Slipknot fans. Like,
What do you mean? Like this is like a big major song for
yeah, it's like a gem that they you know.
Does Metal Elitist like it?
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he understands the whole history of this song. But that Biding My Time Until the Time Is Right part, like that was my favorite because I used to, you know, I was living in a pretty oppressive environment, and so like I would always sit there and plot my revenge. So I'd play this, I'd blast this on 10. And it was kind of like my I'm fucking plotting my revenge, bitches. So it was people in my family.
gosh.
You know, I couldn't do the normal thing and just act out in violence because it's people in my family.
It's
I
your
wasn't going to do that, but I was still going to find ways to exact my vengeance. So I played this song. That's right.
But you're not like that anymore, or at least I don't see you to be
What?
an exacting sort of person.
Well, I mean, you get it out of your system.
Oh, okay.
You know, I had a lot of outlets. I mean, it's New York City, so you had a lot of outlets if you wanted to take out your anger and you wanted to get mixed up in violent shit. It was right there. Now it's out of my system. So.
Oh, okay. I see. So that's your suggestion for people?
What? Well, this song, particularly that middle section, kept me from from being a violent person in my house. So because I could communicate that and kind of had that, because this is a pretty cathartic song.
Yeah.
You know? So it kept me from actually doing real violent, being a more violent person than I already was. There's nothing on the earth that would have kept me from being a violent person back then. But it was just a matter of controlling it. And this helped me control a lot of it because it was a good outlet.
It's hard to picture that in you.
What? What?
You being a violent person and exacting and stuff like that, because now you're so nice to people. And when you're scrolling like that, it's just not working for me. So thank you. Yeah, because you're not like that at all now, so, or at least I don't perceive you to be like that. So it's just,
Well, I mean, people change.
Yeah, I know.
You're 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. Your environment has a lot to do with it.
Yep,
know?
That's true.
So, I mean, you can even walk down the street there without getting into some sort of confrontation.
All the time. You're always having to be worried about conflict. That's gonna mess a person just at that level. You know what I'm saying? You always gotta be on 10. You always gotta be ready for something. You know what I'm saying? Most people.
Well, I mean, I wasn't I don't know. I mean, it depends on where I was. Sometimes I was kind of I think to myself, if I get into this conflict with this person, I could die. Fuck it. Because I was just I didn't want, I was suicidal and being suicidal in that
Yeah.
environment.
Yeah. Okay.
People will accommodate you.
That's true.
So, it's just so weird.
Yeah, that's true.
This record is a very strange time in my life. Because Korn, like I said, Korn was more like internal, you know. They've got a song, the song right before this one, I think was called Only One. And at the end he says, only one of us walks away. Only one of us walks away. I'm like, yes, motherfucker.
Jesus.
So it was a lot of just like real just aggression and a lot of like, okay, you know. So I always played that part of the song. I didn't hear the rest of anything else.
What are we talking about in this song? A relationship? Seems like another crazy
I am
relationship.
not sure that there's any real like logos to this song. Like, I feel like it was just a bunch of stuff that was just like cobbled together. I'm sure there's probably a unifying theme somewhere. The name of the song is Scissors.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's like kind of like tearing or cutting yourself or something, right? I played Doctor for 5 minutes flat before I cut my heart open.
See, well, I don't know.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't know if this is like everybody has this thought. Like playing Doctor, I've heard, you know, that reference like as in like playing sexually, like doing things sexually, and
Right.
looking into things. So I played Doctor for 5 minutes flat before I cut my heart open and let the air out. In other words, he like, but he like, you know, sexually has fun with her for 5 minutes flat. I think it just means like a small amount of time before I cut my heart open and let the air out. I don't know what means let the air out. Like, I didn't know if it was like before I cut my heart, knowing like almost like saying in advance, like this is not gonna end well. Like I'll have fun with you for a little bit, and eventually I'm just gonna have to cut my heart open, because that's what always happens with these relationships. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. 3 bugs, a pound of dust, some wind spilled before me. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, that's what was in his heart.
Oh, gross. That's so disgusting. In the strangest manner that had broke away my tear spout. So he doesn't have any, he can't even cry about it. Like, he cuts himself open, that nastiness spills out, he can't even cry.
Why?
Why can't he cry?
Well, that it broke away his spout, not his ability to cry. To me, it's that made him cry.
I thought the spout was just like the way that it was going to empty. So if you broke the spout, it could no longer come out.
Very possible. As I lay there and my tongue spread wide open, a black widow had offered me a sweetheart too.
Black widow, when a woman is talked about as being a black widow, it's not a good thing.
Nope.
She's a man-eater, right?
The
Man-killer.
murderer.
Yeah. A sweetheart tube as I injected the candid heart that I selected. Is that her heart or is that his own?
I don't think it's candid. It's candide.
What is that?
You know those little candy hearts that you get in
the candied heart? Oh. Yeah.
Valentine's Day? Yeah, I think it's candide heart, not candid. They're wrong here.
Oh, I just thought it was like, you know how you have like different, well, you don't have different hearts, but you have different parts of your heart. And you could say, okay, I'll let you into this part, I'll let you into that. So that's what I thought it was.
Well, I mean, if you go with candid, sure. I just think it's candide.
What does it mean if it's
because it
candid?
said a sweet heart.
A sweetheart too.
So that goes with candied heart. Sweetheart, candied heart.
That's true.
It looks like drugs, right? Like a needle.
Yeah, I mean, when it says that, and injected and tube sounds like drugs.
Yeah. And a black widow had offered that to you because she's a woman and she's giving you some form of pleasure, but it's going to be destructive.
Yeah.
Right? She said, don't hesitate, don't just do what you have to do to me, because I guess he becomes a different person when he's on drugs. Pretty sure Corey did have a drug problem that he got out of like by the 3rd record.
It's hard to stay between the lines of skin. Just because I have nerves doesn't mean that I can feel. Stay between the lines of skin. Is he talking about, I guess when, I don't know if he's talking about like when you're shooting into the vein, like you got to keep in the line. Like, I don't know.
I think there he's talking about cutting himself. Let the blood run red because I can't feel. So it's hard for him not to cut himself. Just because he has nerves doesn't mean that he can feel. To your point, when it talked about like breaking away his tear spout, not being able to cry, he's trying to do this so that he can still feel that he has feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So So it looks like drugs / self-harm, because what's interesting is a lot of people take drugs to numb themselves from the pain of life, but then now he doesn't like being numb, so now he's got to take the scissors to his skin, basically, so that he can feel something.
Yeah.
So, and then it goes into the biding my time until the time is right.
Correct. The time is right for what?
Well, at the end of the song, he says, it's time, right?
Yeah.
So, maybe it's getting rid of the drugs, right? Because at the end, he says, I don't want you to pay anyone when I die. I want to die. I'd rather die. You purge, you burn, you purge. I don't need you anymore. I don't need you. So
is this the woman that gave him the drugs in the first place?
Well, I think he's saying he's purging the drugs. Like, he's getting rid of the drugs. And he's saying, I don't need you anymore to the drugs and all that. But
what is, I don't want you to pay anyone when I die?
I have no idea. Maybe that's not even the right lyrics. Who knows? Because above it says, you want it, you need it, you want it, you need it. That's drugs. And then it's saying, don't lie. You know, all that stuff. I died, you lie. I don't want you to die. Some of this, I think he freestyled some of this too. I'm pretty certain, like, the second half of the song, like, it was just complete freestyle.
Okay.
So I just think it's like the detox process, like personifying the drugs as a woman that he doesn't want anymore, but he knows is going to cost him his life to some degree. And so it's like, he doesn't want the drugs to kill him and all that good jazz. And so he's saying it's time, in the sense of it's time for him to get rid of them. But it's a battle. But yeah, like I said, I think that that's all like freestyle at the end. But I was thinking, especially at the beginning before I look at the rest of it, because I do think it's probably about drugs and killing or hurting yourself. But
yeah.
I was thinking about, like, I cut my heart open and let the ear out. Like, seeing as how this is the last song on the record, that's previously what he'd been doing for the entire record. Like, letting everything out, letting everything that was in his heart open. Like, that's what he was doing for the entire record, from the first song to the last song.
Yeah, sure.
This record is probably one of the most intense records of.
Really?
For me personally, this is the most intense record from start to finish ever.
Really?
It's exhausting. If you listen to this record from start to finish, it's fucking exhausting.
Really?
I remember they used to, when they first got on, at least like when I saw them on Tattoo the Earth, it was like Metallica. So there's so many bands there.
Yeah.
So when they played, they were, they only had a half an hour, and all they did was just play this record. Because that's the only material that they had at the time. They had other material, but they played this record.
Yeah.
And like by the end of it, you were just exhausted.
Well, because you jump
exhausting.
Around the way you do.
Yeah, but they were too.
Oh, well, yeah, but they are also jumping around.
Yeah. No, I get it, but like it's just an exhaustion.
Yeah.
There's no breaks. Like in Master of Puppets, you had that little middle. Like there was none of that. It was just
There's
like
no
bah, 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 bah. There's no chill whatsoever. Yeah. It was just so and they were really, like, Iowa is heavy and Iowa is probably heavier, but it wasn't the same as this record.
Level.
What they were doing, and that's why you'll see, like, if you really, really ever get into Slipknot, his vocals change throughout the years, because it's just impossible
Keep up that
to
level.
keep up that level. It's just completely not healthy and terrible. At the time, for him and for us, it was great.
Yeah.
So I think, like, to some degree, like, Scissors is what he was doing in the entire record. Letting his heart out and like opening himself up and all that shit. So, it's sort of like,
maybe the play doctor for 5 minutes flat is fixing himself up before he goes on stage to play.
Yeah.
Maybe he just throws himself together. Although they don't look thrown together, they actually look like they take a lot of time. And
They're pretty fucking purposeful about their stuff. But yeah, this is like a cult classic for Slipknot fans. Like, if you're a true cult Slipknot fan, like, this is one of the songs. There's a lot of like requests for Scissors.
Yes.
Like from the first time we did Slipknot, this was a request, and Slipknot was the first band that we did.
Yep.
So there you are. What do you give the song?
Oh, jeez. I'm not sure about this one. This one's a little bit tough for me to... Probably a 9.
Really?
Yeah. It started out low, like a 6.
This is it. It's getting a point for me just on the historical basis of the value of the song. So it's getting a 9 for me.
Oh.
I could, you know, it's completely disorganized and all that, and I know that like a lot of Slipknot fans are gonna go, "That's the genius of the song," you know, but it's like, okay, it's a bunch of cobbled together riffs and all that, but for its place in history and the place on the record, you know, it's getting like probably a 1.5. I probably would have been a lot harsher in the rating, but because of where it's at historically, that has to be considered.
I agree.
What did I give it?
Give it a 9.
You gave it a 9? Strong, shiny, solid 9.
Yep. From the both of us.
From the both of us. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.